Hi, guys. Welcome to the Gig Economy Podcast, episode 186. A lot to talk about today. We're going to talk about a lot of EV stuff. So if you're interested in electric vehicles and you hate Uber, you've come to the right show tonight.
Yes, come on in.
How's it going, Larry?
It's going well. Recovering from a little bit of like flu-like symptoms, but feeling on the mend tonight for the show. So
Very good. Yeah, you actually sound better now than you did this morning when we talked. So
yeah, my voice was still pretty, I don't know, still pretty congested this morning. So yeah, feeling better. But how you doing? How's
I'm
your week
doing
been?
good. This weather sucks ass in Michigan right now.
Yeah.
We have been freezing cold and windy, and we're supposed to get 4 to 7 inches of snow on Friday. So,
Are you serious? Oh
yep,
my gosh. Yeah,
yep,
it's gone that way here. It's gotten, we had the 75, 80-degree days there for a couple of days, just
yep.
enough to tease you. And now it's gotten cold and like 30-mile-an-hour winds tonight. I know there's a burn warning because it's going to be so windy and dry.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
we're lows in the 30s, something like that. But definitely, hopefully no snow.
I think the problem that I've experienced is one warm day is fine, right? But when you give us 6 or 7, not in a row, but just spread out for the last month, like, okay, I can handle that. And then this, so I'm not looking forward to the snow. In fact, it's supposed to start around 5 a.m. I'm hoping we have one more school day to burn, so I'm hoping or snow day to burn. So I'm hoping they do that on Friday. So go to gigeconomyshow.com for everything news related, blogs, news, gig economy news. Sign up for the newsletter that I don't post, but you do get notified every week that there's a new episode or anything else that we talk about. So I don't know. The newsletter is, we talk about everything on the show. So it's like, I'll give you a link for a new episode and stuff, or maybe a blog article, but like, I don't know. A newsletter is kind of like, whatever. I mean, Jesper and I did kind of do it as like a personal one, something outside of the show that maybe you not know. But anyways,
we may have to reevaluate.
Well, I reevaluated by not doing it for the last so.
That's one way to do it.
I want to really thank our Patreon members. We really can't thank them enough. But I'm going to do it anyways. It's Samson from Grand Rapids, Steve from Colorado, Bud Dickman from North Carolina, Omar from Detroit, Delivery Cats from Michigan, Jamie from Tennessee, Frank from Philly, Nate from Florida, John from California, Tom from Chicago, and Jimothy from Connecticut. Maybe he'll actually show up on time tonight. If you want to join the Patreon, go to patreon.com/gigecon podcast or just search the Gig Economy Podcast. On there, you have an option to choose the $5 tier, which is tip you in the app, or the unicorn, which is $10. The $5 gets you the pre-show banter, and the $10 gets you the pre-show banter, ad-free episodes, some merch after the 3 months, and a bonus. And we're going to do that next Wednesday when Gabe comes on. So we're going to do a Patreon bonus. And when Gabe comes on, we're going to make him work. We're going to make him do 2 shows.
Hey, there you go.
He's got to earn every penny that we pay him. There we go. I was trying to make a joke, but it didn't come out.
2 for the price of 1.
2 for the price of 1. Yeah. So also the Telegram group, if you are around and about doing gig work throughout the country and you're kind of feeling a little lonely and kind of like, fuck, man, like I'm struggling, like connecting with people, join this Telegram group. There's people all over the country, all over the world, actually, that want to connect with you. It's not like we're not going to sell you anything. Like it is the podcast chat, but it's kind of turned into just like whatever, you know what I mean? I don't even post the damn episode in there. So I'm terrible at promotion, as you can see. So, but no, join the group. We talk about gig work. It's a little sparse during the week at times, but during the weekend it gets busy. If you ever just feel like you need to connect with somebody and kind of bitch about the gig world, or praise what's going on in your life, we'd love to have you. So
definitely.
Stories from the road. I basically did an amazing St. Patty's Day on Saturday.
Very nice.
I made $40 an hour. I mean, I'm not afraid to tell my earnings. I thought it was good. I worked for 10 hours or just shy of 10 hours and made, $400. Did 5 in the morning, 5 at night. The 5 in the morning was a little disappointing just due to the fact that I thought it would be busier with people, uh, drinking, and heading down to Irish Ionia that started at 10, but I didn't really have a lot of that, so
Yeah.
most money was earned in the evening, but pretty good time. One, I did have the only story I really had, I didn't I was I was so stressed that someone was gonna puke. I had so this is TMI, y'all. I can go for if it's, like, not super sweaty out, I can go for a couple days and not get BO. I just don't get it, right? I had taken the shower a night before, like, Friday night, I went out and drove, and then by the end of Saturday night, I was smelling, and it must have been, like, anxiety sweat from
Yeah.
thinking that people are gonna throw up in my new car. I was just
Yeah.
so worried about it. I don't know if you've ever had
Yeah.
that.
Do you have puke bags in your car?
I did, but I mean, it's
Okay.
just, you just
Yeah.
I just don't
Yeah.
want
Sometimes that doesn't help. Sometimes
yeah,
it
I
does
just
not
don't
help.
wanna be involved with it, and so,
Sure.
um yeah, I had to take a shower on Saturday night, but no one puked, so the only really story I
Very
have
good.
this airport lady,
Okay.
this was during the day, obviously, not during at night, and I go to pick her up on Lyft. I couldn't get a ride out of the airport on Uber Comfort because I was determined not to do anything but Uber Comfort,
Um,
um, and so I pick her up or I go to pick her up. I go from the lot and I'm standing there and she's like, "Where are you?" Now the timer is almost up. You know what I mean? And I was like, "Well, I'm in the rideshare lot." And then she's like, "Oh, I think." So finally I called her, because on Lyft you have to call. Otherwise you
yep.
can't get the cancel fee. So I
Mm.
call and she's like, "Oh, I might be right here." And I was like, she was standing there the whole time. And so I was like, "Yeah, come on in. Come on in. I'm the black car, tinted out windows." And she's like, um, yeah, I couldn't see you because the windows were tinted, so I didn't know it was you." And I was like, "Well," I kinda got snotty with her. I was like, "Well, there's a picture of my car in the app, right?" "Yes." I said, "You can also check my plate, right?" "Yes." And I said, "Just because you can't see me, I understand that. Well, then knock on the window or say, you know, wave your hand or something like." So
Something.
I was just fucking frustrated, and it ended up being a longer trip, and she did
Yeah.
end up tipping me, but I was just like, come on. I mean, what are we doing here? Let's get the fuck out of here. You're making me wait this 5 minutes, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
Gotta love it. Gotta love, yeah, they see everything about us.
I know.
Everything. Like I said, the picture of us, the driver's license, the make and model of the car. It shows them on the map where we're at. I
I
mean,
know, everything lined up. Now my wife defended this lady. She's like, "Well, yeah, if I couldn't see you," and I'm like, "Well, then open the door, and if it's a black man, then obviously it's not me, and shut the door." Like, I'm not saying, like, crawl in and just go without doing any pre-check,
right.
but I'm just like, "Oh, I was so annoyed by that." I don't know why. I was irrationally annoyed, so
Well, nobody puked, so you had to have something to be annoyed at. So
yeah, there you go. So what about
exactly.
you?
Yeah, St. Patty's Day. Obviously, everybody I think celebrated Saturday night. It's past 3 years. The college here has been on spring break that week of St. Patrick's Day, so I think that slows it down a little bit. But I ended up pretty good. I worked a little longer than you. Ended up at 485, I believe, for the night.
Okay.
But 200 of that was from one ride. I had a ride from Bowling Green to Lexington, Kentucky on Lyft. I was surprised it paid as much as it did. It paid $200, which
Wow.
it's about 2 hours and 15 minutes. Um, I was one of our son lives there, and when I dropped this passenger off, I pulled up my son's address to see how far I was. I was like 4.3 miles from his house,
Oh,
which was
geez.
hilarious. Yeah, so I called him up, but he didn't answer. And he called me back about 15 minutes later. He's like, "Hey, what's up?" I was like, "I was just gonna ask you where the good place to eat is around here." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, dude, I'm right by your house." But I'd already gotten back on the interstate by that time, so I came on home and finished the night out. It was a good night. It was steady. I had one guy that was really trash, but he had three girls with him and they were keeping him in check. So
Okay.
that was good. But yeah, it was a pretty good night. And then the only story I have was it's also airport related. So I picked up a guy here in a neighborhood called Mount Air, which now we have several neighborhoods where the real ultra wealthy live here in Bowling Green. Back
Mhm.
when I grew up, Mount Air was it. If you were really wealthy, that's where you lived. And
Okay.
so picked him up, real nice guy. I was taking him to the Bowling Green Airport, which doesn't have any commercial flights, so it's either a company plane or a private plane. So
Okay.
he was asking where he was flying. He said he was flying down to Naples, Florida. He said he has a buddy down there that has like 100-foot yacht, and they were going out for a few days. And he was just making small talk. Real nice guy. And he said, yeah, he said we were down there one time on like a 3-day trip on this yacht. He said the guy, when he's not using it, because he doesn't use it a lot, he rents it out to really rich, wealthy people or famous people who have money, that kind of stuff. And so he said, we asked the crew, because they have a crew of 4 people to run this boat. He said, we asked him, who was the worst passengers that you've ever had?
Mm-hmm.
And he said they didn't hesitate. He's like, oh, that's easy. He said, it's the guys who started Lyft. He said they were here. He said they were condescending. They treated the crew like shit. He said they were just mean and just thoughtless. It's like they were the worst people we've ever had. And I was like, oh, interesting. It makes you shudder, because Lyft has always had the image of we're the friendly company, the fist bumps when you started out, and all that kind of stuff. Sit up front, chat with your drivers and all that. And then to hear that, you're like, oh man.
Yeah,
hate to hear it.
I feel it wasn't the current CEO, right? It was
no. It was the original creators, I think.
Because I feel like the current CEO is much better than the.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the current CEO definitely has more going for him, I think, than the original people. But even then, I didn't know that they were that bad. I mean, we all know Uber, the guy who started Uber, we all know he was just an asshole.
Yeah.
But I did not know as much about the creators of Lyft. But there you go.
What they say is you never want to meet your heroes because
exactly they never live up to it.
Look, I'm going to clarify. Yeah. Lyft CEO or owners were not my heroes. I'm just saying how they present themselves is like, oh, we're the good guys, and then they're complete assholes. So but yeah. So real quick before we jump into gig economy news, I got an email a couple days ago from our website, which we get emails all the time. 99 out of 100 is bullshit. Well, this one wasn't. So I don't know if you remember back when we talked about the thirsty goose. Do you remember that? If I say thirsty goose, does anyone know that's watching or listening or whatever? Do you know what the thirst? Do not Google it. Do not Google it, Larry. You cheater.
I do not. I'm trying to think, but I have to say I do not remember.
CRS. So
yes, exactly.
I will show you the thirsty goose, and it'll immediately remember what it is.
Yes. Okay. Yep.
So basically, it's something for you to pee in, and it's more like, like other than a Gatorade bottle. So they actually reached out randomly, and I contacted us on our website. Like, hey, I listened to it was episode 172, so it wasn't that long ago. It was probably, I don't know, maybe the summer, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how to do weeks. We're at 186, so 72, 82. No, that was probably like a couple months ago. It doesn't matter. Yeah. But he reached out, and they're giving us 3 of them.
So your reputation has preceded you.
Well, yeah, you would think. So I mean, clearly he loved the conversation about it. And if you remember, Jesper and I talked about it. Mm-hmm. They were out of stock because we were going to look at them, or we were just going to buy one just to see. And they were out of stock. And I was like, oh man, they were back in stock. So I am keeping one. And we are giving one away, and I don't know if Jesper wants one, or I don't know, maybe Larry, if you want. I don't know. I just can't wait. And drum roll, please. Oh, I don't have a drum roll.
We'll save one to give away at the picnic.
Okay, and I'm going to give one away too, maybe on a live or something. But we are now Thirsty Goose ambassadors.
Okay. Wow, this is funny because the thing to me is it looks so like nice when you look at it. So you just wonder, like, is somebody gonna, is a passenger gonna pick it up in your car, or and what is this? Yeah, I mean, it's could lead to some interesting conversations, I
Well,
think.
I mean, honestly, it's just if take rideshare out of it. It's
Yeah.
kind of nice, like, if you for whatever reason you can't get up because of health reasons, it's
Yeah.
just nice to sit on, like, you're like, if you literally gotta piss in this in bed, you're not
Yeah.
getting it up to dump that fucker. Somebody else
Yeah.
has gotta do it, right?
Yeah.
So at least you can set it on the desk and it,
Yeah.
doesn't
See,
look like
this would be
shit.
perfect. My son, probably next Thursday is going to have surgery on his foot. He's got a piece of bone that's broken off and it's got to
Okay.
be removed. And he's going to be like non-weight bearing for at least 2 weeks. Well, his apartment in St. Louis, the bedroom and bathroom's upstairs, living room,
Oh,
kitchen's downstairs. So I told him, I was like, dude, I would just live downstairs. I'd be peeing in a bottle until, the only reason I'd be going up those stairs if I, had to take a crap. I'm like, I would not be going up the stairs every time I had to pee.
yeah.
So this would be perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, so I'm excited to get him. He's gonna let me know when they ship. I'd be curious how skinny it is because, like, I'll be
Mhm.
honest with you, the Gatorade bottle fits perfect in my because like the car door has like a little like you can stick shit in it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It
Yeah. A
fits
little bit
perfect in
sports.
there.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know if the Thirsty Goose is gonna be replace my Gatorade bottle, but we'll have to see. But
I have to put some
uh,
Velcro on it right on the dash, man.
oh
Stick him
my
right on the
god.
dash.
Can you imagine? We should do a whole series. People like, "Oh, what's that?" And they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's what I pee in," and just watch people's reaction.
Yeah, get that dash cam footage. Yeah, just have it like facing forward or no, facing the inside of the car looking at them.
Yeah.
And yeah, you could start some conversations.
Oh my
I
god.
would love to do that. Just take an empty one, but
Of
just
course.
tell them like, yeah, that's we don't have time to stop. We're busy. We're going one car next. So that's what
Yeah,
we're doing.
I might do something like that. I mean, I'd be worried I'd get deactivated though. That's the only caveat with that shit is like,
Yeah. I mean, I think right before the ride was over, surely, tell them that kind of that's a
"Oh, yeah, yeah,"
scenario.
but you know
But
how people are.
yeah, they might have you deactivated before the ride's over.
Fuck, it'd be so fucking funny though. But anyways, coming to you, I will have a code for the Thirsty Goose that you can save 10% on it.
There we
So,
go. We are ambassadors.
oh man, we are thirsty. I need to make some sort of badge. I'm proud to be a Thirsty Goose ambassador.
Yeah, I mean, because people will be like, is that some kind of vodka or
Yeah.
like, no, not quite. It's it's
Let's
after
see.
you drink the vodka.
Right. He says, "Don't lie. We can get you a 16-ounce bottle. It will fit." I don't understand what that means. Is that a small pecker joke? Is that what he's
Probably.
saying? Fucking Pete. All right. Before we get into gig economy in the news, I want to thank Kim, one of our sponsors. She is incredible. Kim Side Money Plans. Go to her YouTube channel. All her links are in the description. She's a YouTuber and she just started a podcast and she wants to grow her podcast. So go to YouTube and subscribe and then go download the podcast, Kim Side Money Plans. She is a full-time gig worker and content creator. Tons of DoorDash. I don't know how many she has, but I'm sure it's on her website somewhere or her YouTube page somewhere. She's incredible. Love being on her lives with her. She streams all the time. She actually streams a lot of her she's starting to stream live like her
Mhm.
runs, like she does like a Grubhub catering run or
Right.
DoorDash or something like that. So check her out. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
It would help me out, help her out a lot if you could just go subscribe to her show. That would be great.
Yeah, she puts out a lot of content, a lot of good stuff.
Yep. We put out one piece of content. It's this. If you don't like it, fuck off. All right. Gig economy in the news. This is a heavy EV show. And I mean, of course, I'm going to lean towards EV because I have one. And this first thing fucking pisses me off to no end.
Oh man, I've
And
been reading the chat groups or the Facebook groups on
oh
this, and
God.
oh man, people are not happy.
So starting on April 11th, we are now losing the dollar per EV ride. It's going to be set up if you do a certain amount of rides, you get a bonus. So you have to do 200 eligible rides every 30 days through the end. Well, at least this is through the end of 2024, and you get $210. So, oh, that sounds like it's okay. So it's more than a dollar. Well, a dollar and some pennies or whatever.
Yeah.
But the problem is this eliminates every part-time driver in the country with this having an EV. People went out and bought EVs. I mean, not because of this. It does save gas, though. I mean, this is like I'm not gonna lose my mind, but, if I do 30 rides in a weekend, that's $30 less. Let's say I did it every weekend, that's what, 4 times 3, 120,
Yep.
so it's like $1,000 a year for me if I did 30 rides a week, you know what I
Yeah, and
mean?
they keep talking about how much they're wanting, want to get so many EV drivers on the road, and then they do something like this.
I'm wondering, if the whole rental thing, I mean, you saw that the Hertz guy resigned, right?
Yes.
Over he bought so many Teslas and it turned into a big nightmare.
Yeah, and
I
then
w
they sold them all.
Yeah, I wonder if that's part of it, or they're trying to recoup some of their costs. Um,
Yeah, could be. Of course, I mean they say they're changing it because they're putting that money toward other initiatives and other
yeah.
things. But
I mean, they might be, but either way, it hurts the drivers, right?
yeah, yeah,
Like,
the
that's the
people who've
bottom line.
already done what they've asked them to and bought an electric vehicle.
Yeah. I mean, it's just annoying to me. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, it was one extra thing, like, cool, like, I get to save gas, I get a little extra money. I mean, literally, that paid for my charging for a weekend.
yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? And, okay, it doesn't now anymore. And again,
yeah,
I'm not like, whine, whine, whine. It's not the end of the world, but it's still frustrating
yeah. It
to
really
no
is.
end. And I feel bad for people that did it, buy it, and just in the intent of just doing it for Uber. Now, again, if you're full time, it's 50 rides a week. You should be doing that no problem. I mean, if you're doing just rideshare, if you're not doing
Mhm.
50 rides, you ain't making shit. So, anyways, I'm annoyed with that. So, like I said, heavy EV talk, and the next story is EV as well. I'm
Yeah,
curious
so
about that.
Uber, they've announced a new app feature that's going to give riders kind of data about the carbon dioxide emissions that they reduce if they choose for a driver that has an electric or a hybrid vehicle. Now, I know this is probably a lot of people couldn't care less if they had this information, but there are people out there who, they're very high on the electric vehicles and the emissions that we're putting out. So Uber's going to show riders an estimation on the amount of emissions they're saving if they ride Uber Comfort Electric or Uber Green, which are hybrid and electric vehicles. Um, but it's interesting. This article talks about this feature, but it also talks further down, um, which some people may not think of because I think, oh, rideshare, they've always pushed the idea that rideshare helps reduce emissions and it's more environmentally friendly. But every time they do a study, they find that it actually is not. And that's
It's not.
because of the deadhead uh, rides that we have to take. So they said if you an Uber driver picks up drives to pick somebody up, takes them to the grocery store, drives to pick somebody else up, takes them somewhere. Well, you would think, well, that's better than both those people driving. But when you count in the dead time that he's got to drive to pick them up, you're really putting out more emissions.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody in their right mind said, "Yeah, this is better for the environment," because it's
They
not.
push that hard.
I mean, you literally could be moving one person at a time. It's not better. What's better is getting a shuttle, maybe not a bus or something that you can be like, "Hey, we're leaving at this." Yeah, I don't know. It's just that in no way, shape, or form save money at all.
Yeah, that was a big
And
push, especially during the first couple of years
yeah,
that they would push out to us. Oh, it's gonna be less people on the road. It's gonna be less gas used and all that. And we all know you drive downtown in any city on a weekend, and what do you see? You see Uber and Lyft lights everywhere.
yeah.
These people just driving around. Half the time they don't have anybody in the car.
Well, I often feel too, like you said, you see all the cars.
Yeah,
They're like, "Oh, well, people aren't driving downtown." But you know what? The people that would drive downtown, they're gonna park their fucking car and not drive around. Yeah, but when we're drivers, we're deadhead, like you said, and we're moving around all the time. If I was gonna go downtown, I would park my car and not be a
exactly.
congestion thing. So it's kind of stupid that they even said that. So
Yeah,
um and
they say a lot of stupid things.
yeah. I mean, I like the idea of it, but like we talked about a while ago, how they want to get what 2030, they want to get all the drivers on EVs.
That's what they say.
Well, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
I don't think so.
So,
Like I said, we still don't. I don't think we would have the infrastructure by then.
yeah. 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 That's the problem. That's it. And we're going to talk about that about the charging in the
Mhm.
next thing. But let's see. So say goodbye to battery range anxiety. So this is where you're sharing the data with Uber, which is, I don't know. See, I don't think it would work for my Chevy. So Chevy doesn't, well, maybe I don't know. I should try it. Just, I don't know if I can opt out of it though, but Chevy doesn't let any third party access the car, because there's like my charger that I have in my garage. They don't allow it to do that. So I don't know if this works, but enhance your experience on the driver app by connecting your EV to share your battery range with Uber. What you get: save time and trouble, help avoid running out of battery when on a trip, or charging with a rider in the car. Will help you with trip requests that could give you enough battery left to make it to a nearby charging station. Good for Uber Pro. Worry less about needing to reject or cancel trips because you're outside your battery range. When you share your battery level data, you can be matched with trip requests that are within your battery's range. Your data stays private. Your battery data is only shared with you when you go online in the driver app. So I don't know about that. I mean, they always say the matching thing. It's like, what am I trying to the destination filter.
Mhm.
That's a joke. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Yeah.
I
And
feel
if
like
they can't do that,
I know, I feel like I'd get fucked with this or something like that. And am I really gonna trust Uber on my battery? Like, oh, Uber said I could make this ride. Let's just roll the dice. That's not gonna happen. I would
yeah.
never trust that. That's fucking nuts.
Yeah, if it can't be anywhere better than the trip filter, because the trip filters, every now and then they're okay, but a lot of times they are just, like I said, they are trash. They are
Yeah.
absolute trash. And if they can't do a better job than that, then yeah, I'd be worried. You're down to low range, and they're going to send you on a 2-hour trip, airport trip or something.
I'd also be worried that they'd filter out rides that I'd want because of whatever data they're accessing that might not be correct.
Yeah,
You know what
and
I
that could
mean?
very
But
well happen too.
I just kind of want to connect it just to see if it would work, because it would have to. I don't know how it. I'm trying to think how it would.
That's going to interface.
Yeah, it's how it's going to interface, because I don't think Chevy's going to allow it, because they do not allow third-party apps to access their data, their data in the
Yeah,
car.
that's a good question.
Like, even my charger doesn't even know how much it knows when to stop. Like, the car will trip the charger when it's full, but I can't even. I have to go to the Chevy app to find out how much time is left on it.
Okay.
It's super weird. So I got to disagree with Mark on one thing on this. They do not wear down brakes faster, because most cars, EVs, regenerate and have one pedal driving in them. And I rarely touch my brakes. In fact, I make it a point at least once a day to kind of press hard on them so they don't get rusty. I never use the brakes at all. I'm one pedal driving the entire time. And I even have a little paddle on my steering wheel. If I misjudge taking my foot off the gas and I'm going to come in a little hot, I can press this button and it will slow me down without touching the brakes. So I never touch the brakes.
How long does that take to get used to the one pedal driving?
It's interesting. I find I really need to focus when I have passengers, because like with me, if it's a little herky jerky with me, it's fine. Like, I don't care. But like, I
Sure.
can tell sometimes I let off a little too, because like if you let off that gas, I mean, it's like, I mean, it's quick. In fact, and I probably shouldn't do this, I don't even put my foot on the brake at the light. Like, my feet are
Right.
both my feet are off the pedals.
That's interesting. Yeah.
It is a little different. Like, my wife's driven my car maybe 5 times just because 'cause I've been drinking, and she always asks me, it's just a one button to turn off the one pedal. She's like, "I don't
Yeah.
wanna drive with it. I want a normal car."
Sure.
So, when I get into her car and, like, go to let off at the stop sign, it's scary. I'm like, "Oh, shit, hit the brake."
I have to actually work here.
Yeah, I actually have to stop the car.
Oh my gosh.
So, well,
That
I'm gonna try to connect this to
yeah.
see,
It'd
and
be worth
then
testing out.
it would be worth, yeah, just to see what it would do. But all right, well, the next article isn't about EV, but don't worry, we'll be back to EV.
Real quick. So yeah, this is a story about Minneapolis, where their city council passed an ordinance guaranteeing a minimum pay for rideshare drivers, and this had been tried up there before and vetoed by the mayor. But this time the mayor vetoed it again the same day, but this time they had enough votes to override his veto. So Uber and Lyft has said as of May 1st, they will be leaving Minneapolis.
Yep.
They will pull out. So it's really kind of a Mexican showdown right now. Who's going to blink first?
Yeah.
Whether they're really going to pull out. And if they do, I read that there's, 3,000 drivers up there who are going to have to find something else to do right off the bat. And I don't know if that's just a full-time drivers or what. I would imagine so.
Yeah, I would imagine it would just be full-time because there's got to be more drivers than 3,000 in Minneapolis.
I would think so. Yeah, Twin City areas. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, but they're wanting to get this ordinance guarantees that you would get 80% of whatever the fare would be if somebody cancels their ride.
Okay.
And no rides less than $5. And then I think the per mile was like $1.40 and per minute was 50 something cents, I think.
Yeah, it was pretty high.
Yeah. And, Uber and Lyft says that's unsustainable. If they put the rates at that, it would price everybody out of the market. I don't know. I mean, $1.40 is definitely up there. I mean, we're $1.17 here. It's not that much more than what they pay here. So I don't know. I have my doubts whether they would totally ruin everything for them. I think it's just a point principle for them.
So the only town that we talked about was Austin. They pulled up, but they're back in though, right?
Yeah, they reached some kind of agreement.
Yeah,
down in Austin. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know of any other United States market that they pulled out of and stayed out of.
Yeah, I don't know either, but it is going to be interesting. Now, we talk about this the standoff here. Now, I need to dig a little deeper into it, but is it for sure like this is taking effect on May 1st and
Yes,
there's no like they can't file a junction or
I
like
mean, I'm sure that they could do something if they were to come to some kind of agreement. I'm sure they could have some kind of emergency meeting and put a stay on this for a while they try to work things out if they want to.
My guess is they won't because we're talking just a city. We're not talking like when it was California, it was the whole state.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I mean, that's where they live and work, you know what I mean? So of course
Right.
they were going to work something out, but they're probably like, you know what? They're going to have to stand their ground somewhere. And I'm like, all right, it's Minneapolis. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean?
I think it's been tried at the state, but I think the governor vetoed it as well.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But this is, I think, just for Minneapolis. But yeah, supposedly as of May 1st. But you wonder how many people it's going to impact. I know there's people that just don't have a car. There's people who are elderly, and I know I do a fair amount of medical trips here, taking people to and from the clinic or back from the hospital or doctor's appointments, things like that. You wonder how it's gonna affect them. I think they still do have taxis available there, but everybody knows they're not or at least here they were never as convenient.
Well, there's a couple of apps ready to go, and if I were them, I would be spending a ton of money on advertising right now.
Yeah, what's the one down in Minneapolis or down in Florida? We've talked about it before.
It started with a W, didn't it?
I think so.
I
should have had that ready.
Either way, whoever's over there, you guys better be just. I know it might not be outside your budget to advertise, but like this is where you do because if you're able to advertise it and people can download the app and be ready to go on May 1st, then yeah, it's going to be a little clunky for sure, but it maybe not affect as many people. And they're like, all right, fuck it, Uber and Lyft, we're getting paid more. And I think that's the biggest issue with these apps is like the customers aren't going to download the app. But if you don't have any other option,
if you don't, right, that's why it's harder for a new one to break in. But yeah, if Uber and Lyft are not an option, that makes it a whole lot easier.
So much easier because then you're like, okay, well, this is the next app I'm going to use. Yeah. And oh, wait, the driver gets paid more and it costs just a little bit more. Yeah. I'm totally fine. That kind of stuff.
Yep, for sure. So it'll be interesting to watch and we'll definitely keep an eye on this and see how things are going. If they are making any kind of talks or if it actually does go into effect, we will definitely stay on top of this.
Yeah, I definitely cannot wait to see. I like that first day, but I don't know. They'll probably do something and spoil our fun. But Fuck Uber and Lyft. All right, going back to Mark's comment again. I can't get off this EV shit. So he is right about the increased weight, and it does wear down tires a lot faster. So I want to give him some credit for that. He did hashtag nerd life. And then Pete said something about being lighter. The cars are not lighter. They are much heavier.
Yeah, the batteries add
Very
all the
heavy
extra weight.
Yeah, that's why it wears down the tires. I haven't had to put new tires on it because of that. But I'd be curious how much I wore down my winter tires with barely any snow on it. Fucking winter. But anyways.
Which apparently isn't over yet.
Oy vey. So this is about Uber's posh electric rideshare. So people that don't know that drive Uber and Lyft are even like customers. There's Comfort, and then there's Comfort Electric. And we do not have that in Grand Rapids. I don't even know if they have it in Detroit, but Uber first launched its Comfort Electric service in which customers can hail trips premium price EVs like Tesla, Polestar. Who the fuck even Polestar? I don't even know what that is. Ford Mustang Mach-E in May of 2022. And since the service has been rolled out in 41 cities, and now being New York, they finally, apparently there was a cap, the number of EV ride hail licenses, and they've lifted the cap. So everyone can go in there if you have a Comfort Electric. So what's interesting though is I don't know how much more it pays, but you still only got the $1 extra like I did, even though you're a Comfort Electric.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much more it pays. I will say though, I do find I do make more overall, but it's not, I bet it's maybe 15% more, maybe. And I maybe get tipped more because I'm sticking just to Comfort, but so yeah, in this whole article, it just talks about, them being a zero emission platform by 2030. But they said, I don't know if we're going to be able to do that because a lot of the companies have stopped production of EVs right now for whatever reason.
Right.
I don't know exactly. Again, I need to start an EV podcast.
Yeah,
but
I mean the 2030 thing, that's just like the autonomous vehicles were going to be.
Yeah,
when we first started out doing Uber, I mean, you heard about it all the time. I mean, enjoy it while you can. Next year or two, going to be self-driving vehicles. They're going to put you out of a job. I think this is similar.
What's weird is though, honestly, is I see so many electric vehicles out there, but it really I would hope over time it would affect the gas prices. Right? If it would lower it down, like if there's less people using it, they're like, fuck it, we're not going to drive our in the EV Reddit community, we call those ICE, internal combustion engine. I was just gonna say it, but I'm like, I'm gonna talk about hashtag nerd life. Exactly. But that's what they call it. They call it it's what I was gonna say is it'll force people or it'll encourage people to drive their ICE vehicle because it's like, oh, gas is $2 a gallon. You know what I mean? Like, but I haven't seen any of that. I mean, shit, I don't know what gas is by you, but it's $3.75 here.
Yeah, it's a little cheaper here. I think it's $3.19 maybe right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it may be that you probably notice more electric vehicles because you have an electric vehicle.
True. I mean, but come on, how many Teslas do you see a day?
I mean, I see a fair amount of Teslas.
I mean, not just one or two.
Yeah, it's definitely more than that.
It's 15 or 20, and maybe I'm noticing more because you're right. I have electric vehicle.
Yeah.
Do you know if surefire way to know if an electric vehicle is driving towards you? No air in the radiator. They don't need the air that goes in there, so it'll be completely just closed off. Even if you don't know what kind of car it is, you're like, that's an electric vehicle.
Very cool. You are nerd now, aren't you?
I'm nerd.
I love it. I love it.
Oh, I just think it's so cool, and I think it is better in the environment overall. I know we have to figure out a way how to mine that stuff for the batteries a little bit more better, but overall I think it's good. Pete filled up at Come and Go for $3.40. Okay, so it's come down a little bit, but
it's been going up and down. But
so one thing I do want to, this is just a kind of a side note as we talk about the Uber Comfort electric. What was it called? How did I forget about?
Uber Comfort Electric.
Yeah, Comfort Electric. Yeah. Do not go out and buy, like we just talked about, like people going out and buy. Do not buy this expecting to make more money. The only way you're going to make more money in Uber is if you do Uber Black, and not every city has that. Like going
Yeah.
out to buy a $40,000 or $50,000 car that's electric just to make more money. It's never gonna, in my opinion, it's never, what is it, a cost scenario? Like
Yeah,
you're
it's
never
never
gonna
gonna
make enough than buying a $20,000 car, I
right.
guess, over a
Yeah,
40 or 50.
yeah. And I mean, we don't even have Comfort here.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, we have Uber X and Uber XL.
Yeah, no Comfort.
That's it.
Well,
No
we had
Uber Pet.
Select for a while.
No Select. No Uber Pet. No Uber Green.
You don't even have Uber Pet?
No.
I don't understand why you wouldn't just turn that
Yeah,
on
I
in
don't
that
know.
market.
Yeah, I mean we're 75,000 people, and I mean I took two dogs on Saturday. They were both little dogs, but it's
That's
funny.
so
Yeah, I don't understand.
what?
But funny, the guy that told the story about the yacht, the Lyft
Yeah.
guys, he had a little dog with him, like a little Yorkie, and it's not like one of those carriers that's totally enclosed, like you put a cat in. His was
Yeah.
more like a bed, but it had handles, a little bed for the dog, and it had handles. And he was back there, like we had no more pulled out of this dude's driveway, and I hear this dog pissing. And I thought, oh my, he is pissing all over my leather seat. But the guy, he was in the bed, and the guy had like a dog, puppy pad in the bottom of it,
Okay.
and he was peeing in that. But I didn't know that. I didn't know. I didn't know. I thought this dog was peeing on my leather, like not even out of the driveway yet.
I would have died. I've been like, get the fuck
Yeah,
out.
you and your dog.
Did he
Sorry.
ask about the dog, or did he just show up and get in?
No, he came over, and he was a super nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came over. He had a few bags, like I said, he was going to Florida for a few days, so he had a few bags and stuff. And he's like, "Hey, I got a little dog. He's in this. He'll stay in this carrier." I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine." He little Yorkie, like I said. I don't think he was gonna. And then the girl I took to Lexington, she had a little Yorkie too, but she didn't have it in a carrier or anything. So I have a blanket that I lay down in my seat. But he was fine. He slept the whole way there. I think she did too. Literally after she got in, and we said, "Hey, you're going to Lexington, this Taste Creek Road." And she's like, "Yeah." I don't think she said another word till we got there. I think she went to sleep because I look back, she was sitting behind me, so it's hard to see them.
Oh God, I hate that.
And but I mean, I leaned over a little bit, and I still couldn't see her. So I think she was leaning against the window asleep because the dog was asleep, and she said nothing like the whole ride.
How long of a trip was that?
It's 2 hours and about 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Oh, she didn't say another peep.
No, nothing, not a word.
I haven't done a really long trip, but I would always say to them, like, "Hey, I'm gonna pop my headphones in and just listen to a podcast. Just speak up if you need anything or whatever, because I don't want to drive in silence or the radio really low. If I'm gonna be jamming, it's gonna be loud. I need something in my ear. I'm gonna fall asleep."
Yeah, I mean, I always tell them at the beginning, like especially on our ride, like, "Hey, if you need to stop or for the bathroom or whatever, drink, whatever, just let me know. You need air, heat, whatever you need, let me know." But then after that, like I said, she kind of leaned over. I think I'm really sure she went to sleep, and so I had the radio on, and I didn't have it super low, but I didn't have it jamming or anything either.
Yeah.
But it was the middle of the day, so I mean, it was like 2:00, 2:30 in the afternoon.
That's strange.
Yeah, it was one of those. It's always weird too, because I picked her up some apartments here. A guy, she was probably 23, 24, something like that. There, she was a young black lady, and then a guy was helping her load stuff into the car. And then we get up to Lexington, and we pull in the apartment complex. And I'm like, "Which apartment is it?" And she's like, she didn't know which apartment. So she obviously had never been there before. So you wonder, you always wonder what the story is. You always wonder what that story is.
She's probably a hooker.
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, to fall asleep, that means she'd been up all night, probably. I mean, who's gonna fall asleep in a stranger's car at 2:00 in the afternoon?
Yeah, I mean, you never know. Like I said, it's some of those things you're like, "Oh man, I wish I knew the backstory to this," but we'll never
find out. But at least you got her there safe.
Yeah, Gabe said hooking with her dog. Yeah, she wouldn't have her dog with her. Nah.
Who knows? So. People and their dogs are weird. And it's only a Yorkie. It's like, hey, go in the corner where I do this guy. Like, I don't
No,
know.
I think it was like her cousin or something. She just never. They probably lived in a new apartment. She'd never been there
Hooking with
because
her dog.
she had a couple bags. You could tell she was staying for several days. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
just one bag. It was
Well, I
it was
mean, maybe she's a high rise or a high end hooker. I mean, geez.
well, I mean, I got her card. So, no, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Just
That
kidding.
is funny, Gabe. I forgot about the dog. Can you
Yeah,
imagine?
good
Dog,
point.
go in the hey Sparky, go in the corner. I gotta do this guy. I gotta go.
Yeah.
I gotta make
Hey, hey,
$1,000.
people got weird fetishes. Maybe this guy had a Yorkie fetish. I
Oh,
mean,
you took it to that level.
uh,
Oh, did she have a jar of peanut butter? All right, moving on before we get banned or something.
yeah, let's move
Uh,
on to this next picture.
well, we're gonna do an ad real quick.
All right.
Octopus tablet. One of the best things you can do to make passive income in your car is
Easy
getting one
money.
of these tablets. You literally they send it for free, send it to you for free. You plug in, you leave it plugged in. There's really nothing you can do as a full-time driver having this in your car. You can make up to about $100 a month, which doesn't sound like a lot, but for me as an EV person, that'll give me a lot of juice for $100. They have contests, they have a podcast, they do all kinds of stuff. Very driver focused. The link is in the description. If you have not gotten this, I don't know why. And anyone says that maybe it like, oh, that's cheesy or chintzy. It's not. It's very
Yeah.
classy. That um
They update it all the
yeah.
time. Like it's spring now, so they have Easter stuff on there.
Yep.
They have spring stuff, graphics, games. They have a lot of March Madness stuff going
Yep.
on there. They give away money to drivers. Every month they have contests. They give away money to the passengers as well if you get high scores. And like I said, once you put it in the car, you don't have to do anything with it. I've had twice. I've had the charging cable break, and I just you email them or go on their website, report it. They even got an app now that you can report things,
Yeah.
and a couple of days later you get a new charging cord. You never have to worry about paying for anything. You just make money for having it in your car, and passengers love it, especially at night.
Yeah, I love the software. I did like when we had Levi on last week, he had made his own. I wish we could personalize it a little bit more. Like just maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe on that one driver screen, just having more features on there. But other than that, like it's not even a negative.
Yeah. I wonder if Levi's making any money off his.
Well, I mean, he has his app or
he has his QR code.
QR code, probably Venmo or something like that. But did yours ever update?
No.
Mine didn't either. But if I go in the app, it still has the same.
Yeah,
I wonder
it will, but it won't go onto the screen.
I wonder if they're like, yeah, we know what you're doing.
I'm pretty sure they probably do.
And they just leave the old picture up there. But anyways,
not update the app.
All right. Speaking of hot pictures,
so
I had to. Where is it? Did I not? Oh yeah, there it is. So I had to actually take. So Larry and I have a chat and we share links to it. And they had taken this down. It happens a lot on Reddit, but I still had the preview where I shared it, so I just screenshotted it
real quick. Yeah. So this is a rideshare car, and some of the comments in there.
I still got the comments.
Yeah, I still got the comments too. Yeah.
Okay.
So
gotcha.
but and some of the things that they're talking about is this is cool if you're into anime and things like that, but just think if you're going for a job interview and this is the car that's dropping you off, or just different occasions, you might not want this to be the car that was dropping you off. I don't think I would have this on my car if I was a rideshare driver for any reason. But some of the comments are pretty fun. One of the guys said, hey, when your job's hauling ass,
hey, this should work for you, Larry, in your trip to Lexington with
there we go.
the dog lady hooker.
Oh goodness. Yeah. So people were just talking about dropping your kid off at school in this car, or just different things that they don't think it would be appropriate to have.
I often wonder, is this really an Uber car? I mean, although it does have a beacon in there, if you look at the picture, it's hard to see.
Yeah, it's in the middle there. Yeah,
it's in the middle there. Yeah, geez, Louise, that's crazy.
Pete said this picture's been floating around for a while.
Oh, has it? Yeah, some of the stuff we share, like unless I've known about, if I've seen it, I don't know. It looks new to me, so I have no idea. Mark says I want to hear about that throat goat goose. What? Oh, he probably wasn't. He probably is behind because he came in a little late. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, they should just report that car. I mean, Uber would kick him right off the platform.
Yeah, I don't think they would be exactly thrilled about having that
I mean, it's
represent.
one thing if you're advertising a business, but like, I mean, her
Yeah, which I
ad.
don't think, at least they used to not, that was in terms of service. You used to not even be allowed to advertise anything else. I don't know if that's still in the
Well, I
TOS or
mean, you
not.
used to be able to get because I got my car wrapped and that
Yeah.
was totally fine. That was a nightmare, by the way. Also, I don't know what episode that's in. You have to go back and listen
Yes.
to it, but
That's a
um,
while ago.
yeah. All right,
Yeah.
so this next up is of course, Jason read the article or read the title wrong. I thought it was gig apps that it was more than one app. So this is just one, which I thought it was more than one because I'm stupid. So basically, it's just talking about a laundry professional can make up to like 6K a month. And so I do have some experience of this. Honestly, I never did one job because it never came to fruition. But the companies that they talk about are, let's see, where are they? Sorry. Oh, it's called Poplin. God damn it. There's fucking ads on this. Poplin, and there was one other. Oh, Hamper. So basically, you pick people's laundry up, you take it home, you clean it for whatever their requirements are, you fold it and bring it back. Poplin mentions that its laundry professionals average about $40 per order, and there's a $15 minimum. So whatever you take, regardless, you make at least $15. It's a weight-based system, gives you a
Mhm.
75 cents per pound for next day orders and $1.50 per pound for same day orders. And then obviously any tips that you get. Um, it says the pay system for Hamper is based on the standard market rate for each load, and the company's website says its professionals receive 70% of that amount plus tips. So I don't know if this is something that you would be interested in, or I don't know. There was the company we talked about was Launder. Launder, do you
Launder.
remember that?
Yeah, I remember that launder.
It was going good, and that
Mhm.
guy ended up getting a divorce. We ended up talking to him privately, and he ended up having to sell the business. I know it's still
Uh,
out there, or the angel investors took it
mhm.
back or something like
Yeah.
that, but so it was Launder, and then there's a couple more around here, but I see people occasionally
Yeah.
advertising. I don't know
Yeah.
if you see it in your area at all.
I really haven't around here. I wonder too if they talk about people making $4,800 a month. I wonder if these are people that get a bunch of orders and take them to an industrial washer where you can really get it done quickly. So you're having to spend money on that. Uh,
Well, I
I,
mean, if you're making 6K and
yeah,
you're doing it at a laundromat, I mean,
yeah.
I'd do that for that.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Fuck
saying.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can make more money to kind of optimize your time and effort.
I
Um,
don't know. I think it would get very confusing if you had 3 or 4 jobs I mean, you'd have to be very detail oriented, right, to not mix that stuff up.
yeah,
Um, but what did you say? Let's see. So they average 40 per order. So, I mean, if you're doing I mean, I guess if you could do it 8 hours a day and you're averaging $40, I mean,
yeah, you're gonna wear out your washer and dryer pretty quick.
well, yeah, if you're doing it at home and you're doing that much,
Yeah,
you'd have to go laundromat, but,
yeah, I would think
um
so.
and Mark says, "Hell no, I can never see myself never washing someone's skids." Mark, I mean, you don't look at the shit; you just throw it in there. Like, god dang, I don't know. I
There
wouldn't
you go.
mind it, but can you imagine like pulling up to this fucking ghetto ass house? It's just a bunch of bros that live there, and then you're like, "What am I
Uh,
doing with my life?"
yes.
The commitment with just doing all that, like,
Yeah.
okay, I can drive people around in my car, eat snacks, make light conversation, or I can clean skid marks.
Yeah. Yeah, travel is a good idea. Just take it in for fluff and fold service and split the cost. So yeah, you pick it up and then drop it off at a laundromat and have them
I
do
mean,
it.
but it's still that's going to be even more expensive.
You would think.
I mean, I guess if you're not doing anything, any profit's good, right? I mean, if you make $10 on it, you just have to pick it up and drop it off. But most of those sites, they're specific. Like there was one that was new. Why can't I remember it?
CRS.
I know it's not launder, but like I actually bought equipment not equipment. I bought like the bags that they wanted. I'm like, I'm gonna do this. And never got a fucking order. Never, like it never came to fruition. But what I'm saying is it's not like it's just you bring it to the laundromat and they just do it. Like you got to fold it a certain way, you got to package it a certain way. You got to have the shirts in here and the socks folded a certain, like it's very technical. It's not like you fold it, you throw it in the fucking laundry basket and then you don't put it away and you just dig out of it. It's not like that. It's more technical. So
well, this is part of the beauty of the gig economy. We've got people like me who really enjoy just driving people and having that interaction. We've got people like you who like doing food delivery. You don't have to deal with people. And you got people who do Amazon, and we got people who do people's laundry.
Yeah.
That's not going to be my gig, I don't think. Just like,
can you imagine how much the customer's paying on that? If you're averaging like $40 a load, like a job, like the customer's got to be paying like 60, 70 bucks.
Yes.
Right?
So it's 40, how much the
driver
is making?
Yeah. On average is $40 an order, not per load of laundry, but whatever that order is.
Yeah.
I'm like, geez, that is some bougie shit right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's even more bougie than bringing to a laundromat because you got like a professional. That's all they're doing. They're taking their time, where the laundry guys, he's just running that shit through. Like he doesn't care. But
yeah, I can't imagine how much that's got to cost. I'm going to look around and see if I can find one here just to find out what the price is.
Yeah. It usually goes by weight. I remember, I think Launder had a couple different size bags, like whatever you could fit in that bag or something. I don't know. It's kind of strange, but all right. I'm going to skip around a few because I want to talk. Well, I got to see this because since we talked about the thirsty goose,
that's right. We can't skip this one.
And we can't skip this one. So develop this project to drive longer and not need to go to the bathroom. It's just basically a jug that you stick your pee hole in. That's not gonna work, y'all. That the physics involved with that and like having to hold it. I mean, I guess I don't know. I guess it would work, but where are you gonna hide that? I mean, you're gonna have to dump it out, and then you're gonna bring it around to your trunk. Or don't dump it out, bring it around to your trunk, and then wait till you get home. But then, all of a sudden, you get an airport ride, and they got luggage, and you open the back trunk, and there's a half jug full of piss.
By the time you've done all that, you would have had time to just pull over and take a leak somewhere.
Yeah, it doesn't seem. I don't know. It just looks like the angle. Yeah. I mean, I like that you're thinking.
Would you rather have this, or would you rather have an elegant duck?
It's a goose, Larry.
A goose. Sorry. The elegant goose.
It's the thirsty goose.
The thirsty goose.
Sign up now for 10% off. Because like you put that thirsty goose in the trunk and you do that, no one's gonna bat an eye. They're gonna be like, oh, look at that cute little goose.
They're gonna pick it up and they're gonna ask you about it.
They're gonna pick it up and they're like, oh, there's a little water in here.
Yeah, that's my flask.
Oh God. Can you imagine they fucking opened it up?
Oh, well, that's on them. They don't need to be opening my stuff.
I know. I can just see a kid like picking it up or something, like a nightmare. And so no, don't do this. Do the thirsty goose.
Thirsty goose for sure.
It's a throat goat goose. I don't understand what he's trying to say. No, you can't put your penis in there like it's a woman. Is that what you're saying? You're sick, Mark. You need therapy.
We got Yorkies and we got geese.
You need therapy, Mark.
My goodness, so what is going on?
I saw this on Facebook, and I've never thought about this, and I want to talk about it. I know we're over time, but I don't care. So I saw this. It says, it's a DoorDash group. Yep. Does anyone else think it would be fun if the customer got notified every time their order got rejected?
That would be brilliant.
Brilliant. Yes. Like in the number one comment, customer's phone blowing up. Your order's been declined 4 times. Would you like to add a tip now? I mean, amazing.
Yeah.
Like, why
Yep.
I never thought about that, but, like, yes, every time it got denied, you're like, "Oh, sorry, someone didn't want your order."
Yeah.
That would be fucking amazing, and I never thought about that.
Yeah, that would just be wonderful. It would show people because I still think there's a lot of people out there that just don't think about it. They don't think about their order getting declined because they're adding no tip or a small tip because a lot of people are just oblivious. We're in this world all the time. We know how everything
Yeah.
works, but you get somebody out there who orders once in a blue moon, they don't know what's going on. But yeah, if it comes up, and popped up and said, "Oh, your order's been denied, would you like to consider adding a tip?" I think that would really help.
Well, I think what happens as a I've used as a customer, I said, "Oh, we're" it doesn't tell you when the person drops off. It just
Right.
tells you we're finding a driver and just
Right.
pushes the time back. So it
Exactly.
doesn't even tell them, like, there's not even, like, a notification. Like, I would just go look in the app and, like, why did they extend the time? What happened to Jerry? He was taking my order. That doesn't say that they canceled it, declined it. They just kind of move you along down the line.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think this would be a great idea. And like so and so declined the ride, so and so declined the ride. And then a lot of times with DoorDash, I mean, you don't have to do that if you use Gary's
Mhm.
apps, but if you're doing it regular, you have to give a reason why you're declining it, and you can say no tip. Then the
Mhm.
customer should say, "Oh, well, they declined it because there was no tip. Do you want
Yeah.
to add a tip?" I don't know. I think it's great. I don't think they'll ever do it, but
No, I mean, we know how much these companies are against transparency,
yeah,
and so I don't think it would ever happen either. But,
yeah. But I
it
think
would benefit everybody.
it
Who
would.
it's not hurting anybody.
No, I think you're right about the obliviousness of things, because
Mhm.
I even to this day ask people, or people ask me
Yeah.
if Uber pays for my car and my
Oh,
gas.
yeah, I get that question. "Yeah, is this your car? Or Uber on this?" "No, no, this is my own car." "Oh, they give you a gas card?" "No,
Yeah.
no, I don't get
I
a
mean,
gas card."
even
Yeah.
in 2024, people still think that we work for the company, and
Mhm.
it's just yeah, so I think this would be a great idea. And I also someone was I don't know if I shared it, maybe it was in our chat, but
Yeah.
an Uber I'm in an Uber group on Reddit that's just like Uber. It's not just drivers. And
Right.
someone complained about, why do I keep getting canceled? Why do I keep getting canceled? For whatever reason, I couldn't answer the question, but I did comment on it. I was like, this is where I think pre-tipping would be great.
Mhm.
Like, still have the opportunity to take it away, because of course, and some people will abuse it. They do it on Instacart and
Sure.
all this other stuff. But say, hey, I really need to get picked up. I'm going to throw an extra $5 in there. You
Yeah.
100% would get a driver.
Yeah.
No questions asked.
Yeah, 'cause, there's, um I get requests from the next town over, which is a small town, probably,
Mhm.
5,000 people or less, and it's, 15, 20 minutes away, and there's no drivers there because there's no demand there, but every
Yeah.
now and then, there'll be somebody that needs a ride, and it'll ping somebody here in Bowling Green,
Mhm.
and especially if you don't know the length of the ride. Back when
Right.
we didn't see anything, there's no way I'm driving. I did
Yeah.
that one time when I was a newbie. I drove
Ugh.
down there and took the guy literally a mile down to the convenience store. And I'm like,
Yeah.
This is not happening again."
Right.
So, yeah, I think if they could pre-tip and say, "Hey, I know I'm far out, but in order to get somebody to come, I'm willing to, pre-tip $10."
Yeah, I don't know why Uber wouldn't entertain. I'm sure they've talked about it. I mean, we act like they're oblivious to what we're talking about. They've
Yeah.
fucking talked
Oh,
about
it's
it.
all been
Like,
discussed for
it's
one
been
reason.
discussed, but I'm like, I'm wondering why they wouldn't do it, because I think their whole job is to get people in and out of the car as fast as they can, the
Mhm.
turnover. But if you're getting all these drivers canceling on this person, like, that person's not getting the ride, they're getting pissed.
Yeah. Yeah.
The customer's pissed, the driver's pissed, everyone's pissed.
Yeah.
Add $5. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
I got
And
you.
yeah, it's crazy. And I'll have a quick story. I know we're running over too. I just
No,
thought of
it's
this.
totally fine.
But, I had a lady I picked up the other day from, I think she works as a nurse, like, down at the jail, but picked her up, and she was, she spoke very, very good English, but English was not her first language, but she was telling me, she was so happy that I came. She said every Sunday, she calls for a ride, and she says, like, the first 2 people always cancel on her.
Hmm.
And well, no, they don't cancel. They accept the ride, but then they don't ever move. She's like, and she gives them 10 minutes. She gives them 10 minutes to move. I'm like,
Wow.
don't give them 10 minutes. She's like, they sit there. She texts them, she calls them, and they won't do it. She said until like 2 years ago, for some reason, and I'm surely there had to be a way to cancel on the app, but she didn't know how to cancel on the app. She thinks an update on the app gave her the ability to cancel, and I didn't tell her that's
You want to break her heart.
She waited for an hour and a half. This guy, listen to this. This driver accepted her ride, messaged her, said, "Hey, I have to run home to drop off some groceries, and I'll come to get you." He lived in the next county over. It took him an hour and a half to come get her, and she was sitting there waiting this whole time to be.
Did he actually come get her?
Yes, hour and a half. Like, what are you doing? She's like, I don't know why he took the ride. I was like, no. I'm like, I hope you're reporting these people because that's the only way. But she said this happens every Sunday. They will accept her ride and then they won't move. And she calls them and texts them. She said it happens 2 or 3 times before she finally gets somebody. She said it takes her usually about 45 minutes to get somebody to actually come.
That's so strange.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't know if there's just certain people who work Sunday night and work that area where she's at and they always accept her rides, but why would you accept a ride and then not move?
I don't get that either. I mean, I guess you're playing the cancellation game, right? But because after a certain amount of time, right? After
if they haven't moved, she cancels and she says she doesn't have to pay for it.
Oh,
but I told her, I was like, don't give them 10 minutes. Like, there's no reason. Give them 2 minutes.
1 minute.
Yeah, a minute or 2. If they're not moving by then, just cancel and get somebody else. Don't call them. Don't text them. Just cancel. Try to get somebody else.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
I don't understand.
This has been a good show. I appreciate you, Larry. Hey, real quick, Traveler, we want to get you on the B-side. I don't know if you're willing to come on. I don't have any way to contact you except through the live stream. If you can email us or DM us or I don't know, whatever, figure it out.
It's up on any of the social
Telegram,
medias.
Figure it out. You can't email through YouTube, so I don't know. Well, you can just email us team@gigeconomyshow.com. But yeah, we'd love to get you on the B side because I really appreciate your insight on a lot of stuff. I want to pick your brain a little bit, but
for sure.
Anyways, guys, next week Gabe is going to be on the show.
Gabester.
Gabe has been on the show before, but he hasn't been on in this kind of, I don't know, format, I guess. It's been a long time. And so he's going to be remote too, since of course my studio is gone. I can't do any, I mean, I could make it work, but it'd be tough to do.
But yeah, y'all going to want to tune in for this. It'll be a good show. I guarantee you. Me and Gabe, at the picnic weekend, this weekend, we shared a hotel room. We split the cost and we got to laughing one night so hard playing this stupid Rocky game on one of the sports betting sites. I've not laughed that hard in a long time. Yeah, I mean, sides were hurt. I'm surprised we didn't get kicked out of the hotel. We were so loud, and this was like 3 a.m.
That's nuts.
That's nuts. So yeah, definitely want to
tune in next week.
That. Yeah, Gabe said he had a writer the other day that was talking about the Rocket game.
Yeah. It's addicting, that's for sure.
Oh, it definitely is.
And surprisingly, Gabe is more sarcastic than I am, and I don't know if that's even possible.
It'll be a good show. That's all I have to say.
Larry's not going to get a word in edgewise. You're gonna have, you have control of the StreamYard just because you have access to it. Just mute us.
Okay, well, yeah, I'll have to get on here and figure it out. I haven't even messed around in the StreamYard enough to know, but probably cancel the whole feed or something.
Right. Yeah, don't do that.
No, let's don't do that. It'll be a good show though, for sure.
Yeah, and as always, guys, don't put up with anyone's bullshit.
And we'll see you on the road.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.